Thank you. Can you hear me well?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
It's a
Yes.
privilege for me to be here with everyone today in the very first brigade meeting and orientation, and it's a thrill to be here as part of the MCCs and the history of the MCCs here in Florida Conference. Uh, this this guy that you see here, my side, this side,
José
is
Recio.
Jose Recio. He he used to be my company commander when I started, and it was a Sunday, just like today. It was a Sunday, 1983. Maybe some of you were even born in that time, so you can tell by my gray hair that I was alive in that time. I was living then in Puerto Rico, and I joined the MCCs, Medical Cadet Corps, uh, maybe a month before that Sunday. And that was the first activity that I came, and I think I just went to one local activity, and then it was time for a company meeting. And it was a company meeting because we were going to fill uh, some sheets that were called the 809s for the Red Cross. We had a flood in my hometown, and they had deployed it us to this area. I was in the medical cadet corps, as I told you, for just 1 month, and they divided people into teams of twos, you and your buddy. And all of a sudden, since I was the newcomer, there was no partner for me yet. So I was assigned to the company commander. So we deployed, and we came to a place in a big bus, and everyone went out of the bus, and everyone huddled with their team and got the papers and everything, and we started walking in this area that had been flooded, as I told you, and people started filling in and making the contact with the community. And I walked and I walked, maybe I walked like 5 miles with the company commander. And as we were talking, he said, that's our place. And he pointed real far away. So I started walking with him, and we came into a place where there was water, because it was a low land plain. And he told us we need to get there. So I said, well, this means that my boots are gonna get wet. So we started walking, and the water started rising up to our ankles, and then up to our knees. And I stopped, and he looked at me, and he didn't say anything. He kept walking. The water came up to his waist, and he kept walking, and I'm standing here. Am I going to do this? And he's walking, and now his water is half his waist. And he took, I saw him, he took the paper that he had on his clipboard that he was going to fill in. He folded, he took his cap off, he put it on his head, and then he wore his cap again. And he kept walking, and now the water was up to here. And then I saw him do this with his clipboard. He started going like this, moving things from the water. So I said, well, this is my first meeting, and I am with a company commander. And if he's there, that means I should be there as well. So I started walking, and as I was walking, the water hit me here as well. And then I realized, why was he going like this with his clipboard? There was human defecation in the water. He walked with water up to here, and I was so mad at this guy. I was so mad. Why are you walking? Why are you making me walk? And in my mind, I said, I was telling myself, I have the chance to walk away. It's my decision. I can walk away. I am a volunteer. I can walk away. But his testimony, when I got close to him and I was there, I wanted to kill the man. He was there. he was so loving to these people. And it was a second story building. And you can imagine, we were standing and the water was here. This was this single mom with her daughter and a pig on her house. That was the only thing that survived from her property. And there, with a humble heart, with a tender eye, he looked at them and he asked them, "How many are in the family? You know, how are you connecting?" Remember, this is 1983. No phone. It's the raw reality of the Latin American countries. And he filled the information, and I remember he saying, "We'll take care of you. We have your back. We'll come back again." And I look at him, we're gonna come back again. So as we walk off, we had all the information. What did you lose? Or do you have food? What are your contacts? How can we get in contact back to you? What is this address, the specific address? Everything. So we were walking back and going again like this, and knowing that I was filled with filth, and we were going back to the bus. We were stinking, as I recall that, I still get furious at him. As we were walking out, he asked me one question. What have you learned today? What have you learned today? And that was my introduction to the MCCs. What did I learn that day? I learned a verse. I learned a Bible verse that is in Matthew chapter 20, verse 28. That says, "The Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as ransom for many." My company commander, the highest rank in my company, had taught me by example the essence of being a medical cadet. A Seventh-day Adventist medical cadet, the essence, the nitty-gritty part of being a medical cadet, and it's service. Service out of love for others, because God has put love in our hearts. And that was the introduction. Now, I want to take you back to this verse. When we read this verse, the context of this verse was that the mother of two of the disciples came to Jesus and said, "Lord, when you make your kingdom, I want you to put my kids, one to your left and one to your right hand, and I want them to be your closest allies and friends, so they could be, as soft as you are." And God asked them, "Are you going to be able to be baptized with the baptism that I'm going to be baptized?" And they said, yes, we're ready. And he told them, "You certainly will drink this baptism, the baptism of death by service." And the verse is that when the other 10 disciples realized that these two disciples had the audacity to ask that to Jesus through their mothers, "Mom, can you stick up for us with Jesus?" When they heard that, they were furious. Are they better than us? And my experience in this type of ministries is that we find people that they want to excel, but they don't understand the essence of the ministry. The essence of the ministry is not to look good with a uniform or to be in high positions of leadership, to give orders. The essence of the ministry is service. Service to God, service to humanity, service to our church. And Jesus told them, between us, it's not going to be the same. He brought a little boy, and he placed that little boy between them. And he said, in the kingdoms of this world, the strongest and the mightiest, they become leaders. But between us, it's not going to be that way. It's not going to be that way. You need to be a servant. Sorry. You need to be a servant. And the word that Jesus uses here is not the word for a slave. A slave doesn't have any decisions to make. They are made to do what they are asked to do. But here, the word that is used for service is diakonos, where we find the word deacon. You're a servant just out of your loving heart. I want to serve voluntarily. And that's the essence that Jesus is bringing in this text. You need to be a servant. I am a servant. And Jose Recio, he modeled that for me. He modeled that. If you're going to work for God in this ministry, you need to be a servant. So I want to share with you three things three characteristics that I think that every member of the medical corps should. You need to be faithful. You need to be faithful to God. If you want to be in this ministry, in order for you to fulfill your mission, you need to be a faithful servant to God and then to the humankind. Number two, you need to be available. When you ask to do something, be the first one to say, I volunteer, I want to do that. And number three, you need to be teachable. We don't know everything. I am 55 and I'm still learning, because if you stop learning, you become old. So I am 30 here in my mind. So faithful, available, and teachable. And I call that being a fat MCC. Faithful, available, and teachable. So I want you to keep that in your mind. I am fat. I am fat. I want to be faithful, available, and teachable. And let me end up with, once you're fat, once you're faithful, available, and teachable, then we need to be intentional. Why do we do what we do? And then we need to be relational. I want to be loving with people. I want to be loving with the people in my squad, in my battalion. I want to be part of my platoon. I want to be a relational person. I want to be united with my team. I am part of the link, and then I need to be reproductive. This idea has to be reproducible. So I need to teach everything that I have. I can't stay with the information that I have. So if you want to be the best MCC that there is, you need to learn how to serve out of love like Jesus. He gave his life for others. And then faithful, available, and teachable, intentional, relational, and reproducible. So I ask you, do you really still want to be part of the MCC?